So this is the third and final of these games in TvP land, and this one's like the most pronounced. It's the most obvious. It's the most, you watch this for 10 seconds and it's obvious why you lost. And the problem is the streak. Nick gets this, oh, I keep losing to this, and what I really need is to just have a defense big enough to survive this thing that I'm afraid of. And the thing that he's afraid of is these void ray pushes with the stalkers on the outside and whatever. So he's going to do something ridiculous. Okay, so let's talk about what you're supposed to do in TvP. The opening is 2 racks before second supply and then second supply, and then you pump nothing but infantry for 6 minutes. You get $1,000 or $1,200 worth of infantry, including an upgrade, either concussive shells or stim. And then there's nothing Protoss can do that will give him a bigger army than you, because the biggest army Protoss can get by 6 minutes is 1,000, and you have a $1,000 army. So if he comes with a big scary $1,000 push, you just say, ha, I have $1,000 too, I win. And then you keep constantly pushing $250 per minute out of each of your 2 racks, which means you're going to get $500 more than 1,000 by the next benchmark, which is 7 minutes. So you'll have 1,500, and then you'll get 500 more, and you'll have 2,000, and then you'll get 500 more, and you'll have 2,500, and then you get 500 more, and you'll have 3,000. And so to have 3,000 at 10 minutes sucks. Like, you're $500 short. You would die if you only had that much at 10 minutes. So we do eventually have to add a third building in there in order to get a good amount of money. But if you notice, until 8 minutes, the benchmark, the biggest army you can possibly have from Terran, or the biggest army you can reasonably have on one base without completely sacrificing workers or whatever, is $500 a minute until 8 minutes, and then $750 from then on, which means like you added a third building. So that's the goal. The goal is to be strong until 6, weak until 9, and strong until AoE. That's like our mantra. That's what we say. I'm strong until 6, I'm weak until 9, and I'm strong until AoE after that. So Nick is skipping the strong until 6, and that's really what's biting him in the boot bit. So he made the second supply depot before this second rack, so now his Marauder is going to come out too late to beat the 5-minute stalker push. You need a Marauder by 5 minutes, and in order to get a Marauder by 5 minutes, you have to have a racks by 4.5 minutes with a tech lab, and it's already almost 4.5 minutes, and the racks isn't even close to done. Now he's building this engineering bay. Everything you build other than Marines, Marauders, and supply depots and SCVs is, you can think of it as taking away its dollar value from your military budget, because your military budget is very strict. Anything you build outside of your normal military budget reduces the size of your army. So this is reducing the size of his army, this bunker, and this is reducing the size of his army. So his army should be $225 smaller than he wants it to be. Now he's going to get this tech lab, but again, it's very late. It's already 5 minutes, and he doesn't even have a tech lab, let alone a bunker or a Marauder or anything. He's only got 3 Marines and nothing else. So he loses the supply depot, it delays the bunker, which he shouldn't have been building anyway. And now he's got 229 gas and nothing to spend it on. What do you need all that gas for right now? It's just ridiculous. And he's crazy gas heavy, and he just decides to make another refinery. So this is another $75 that he took out of the military budget in exchange for more gas that he's not going to be able to spend until his starport's done, which won't happen until 9 minutes. Now, strong until 6, weak until 9 means from 6 to 9 is when you're really weak. It's when Protosses are probably going to hit you, because that's their window. That's when they're stronger than you are. So doing all these things, like sacrificing our army size in order to get more gas for our 9-minute army, make you weak during a time when you are already weak, so now you're double weak. He's going double factory, which is a little bit weird. But that's, I mean, neither of these buildings is going to be done before the push. We're going to get hit here at like 7 minutes. So what's really important is to look. We remember our goal was to have $500 a minute of army out of these 2 buildings, because each of them is capable of 250. And so we wanted 1,000 at 6 and 1,500 at 7. Well, let's look. Right. If we'd built nothing at all, if we hadn't built this, and 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 hadn't built this, we should theoretically have a $1,500 military budget. I'm hitting S. Our military spending is only $675. Why? Because we took all this money out of it and dumped it into random crap that we don't need. All these things are the reason that we only have a $700 military budget. So We've got half the military size that we should at this point. So when he comes and attacks us, he has 15. Remember I said we should have 15? Well, he has 15. If we had 15 too, we would have $1,500 of Marine Marauder versus Stalker Void Ray. And Marine Marauder dominates Stalker Void Ray if you have an equal amount of money spent on it. So you wouldn't be afraid of this at all. You'd have just as big an army as he does. And so then at 8 minutes is when it gets really crazy. He's not really supply blocked yet. Hasn't lost any supply depots yet. Okay, now he lost a supply depot and he's supply blocked, but he didn't lose that supply depot until it was already 8 minutes. So that supply depot isn't the reason that he's behind at 8 minutes. And we look, 8 minutes, 675. Benchmark is 2,000. So just crazy, crazy tiny, utterly impossible to win doing a build like this. So too many buildings is the answer. Too many buildings. You didn't need all of these buildings. It's just kind of ridiculous. So, yeah. Basically, these two buildings alone, by 8 minutes, your entire army should have come from only these two buildings, right? Because your starport isn't going to finish until 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So until 9 minutes or so, you're not going to have a single air unit, and you're not going to have any tanks yet. Well, that means everything you have came from your two racks. So you have to constantly be using those two racks because that is your entire army. If you ever stop using your racks, you're gonna lose to anything that attacks before the 8 minute mark when your tanks and air units pop out. So pretty simple stuff. And this just kind of compounded itself. The first game that he lost made him think, well, my problem is I need an engineering bay. And then the second game that he lost made him think, maybe I just need a second bunker. And then the third game that he lost, maybe I just need to have a Viking out in time to deal with this stuff. And so in the fourth game, maybe I need whatever. Each one of those adjustments that he tries to make himself stronger, he's thinking about it wrong. Those don't make you stronger, they make you weaker. Everything that you build that is not a Marine or a Marauder makes you weaker. So that's the problem. A lot of people, like, I feel weak, so I'm going to make bunkers. Careful. Because a bunker is $100 you didn't spend on Marines, and wouldn't you rather have Marines than that bunker? So anyway, careful, careful, careful.